If you want cheap games, click that link down below. Welcome back everyone. Today we're going to talk about World War I. Well, more precisely, I will tell you some of the craziest facts from the Great War. Did you know that an explosion on a battlefield in France was heard all the way in London? A group of miners secretly dug tunnels 30 meters underground beneath enemy trenches and planted almost 400,000 kilos of explosive. The explosion itself killed more than 10,000 Germans and was heard all the way in London. I mean, wow, that escalated quickly. Speaking of explosives, women that worked with TNT during the war had their skin turn yellow. Working with trinitrotoluene or TNT in poor working conditions can affect your entire body because all the toxins that are released in the air are inhaled or dropped on skin, resulting that your skin can turn yellow. These women were also called Canaries because of that. Also, interesting fact is that women produced 80% of weapons during World War I. Also, did you know that the youngest soldier during World War I was only 8 years old? His name was Momcilo Gavrić and he came from a small town in Serbia. His entire family was killed, and since he was left alone, he went to find the 6th Artillery Division of the Serbian army. When he found the Serbian army, he told them where to find the Austro-Hungarians in that region that killed his family, and in the end it was true and Serbians achieved the victory. He also participated in the Battle of Seir, and after the battle he was promoted to corporal and given military uniform. By the end of the war he was promoted to Lance Sergeant, lived through the Second World War and died in 1993 at the age of 86. Damn, that was one hell of a kid. Also, when it comes to tanks during the First World War, did you know that tanks apparently had genders at the beginning of the war? Male tanks had cannons attached while female tanks had machine guns. The prototype tank was called Little Willie. One more thing, did you know by the end of the war Britain and France produced 6,506 tanks while Germany produced only 20? By the end of the war, British only had 8 tanks still in operation. I mean, in my opinion, Germans always had a thing for tanks because at the end of the war they almost released a K-Wagen, a super heavy tank that weighed 120 tons and had 4 77mm artillery guns and 7 machine guns, and it was supposed to house a crew of 27 men. Luckily it was never deployed because the only one that was finished was actually captured by the British and the French and later destroyed. You gotta admit, imagine that thing on a battlefield. It's big, it's scary, and it would definitely turn the tide of war. There is also a peculiar fact about Franz Ferdinand and his car. You know, the Archduke that was assassinated and kinda was the reason that sparked the war? Well, the license plate number on his car when he was killed went like this: A111118. A series that can read as Armistice 11 November 18. You gotta keep in mind that on 11th November 1918, World War I was officially over. World War I was also a time of pioneering advances in modern medicine with the invention of plastic surgery by Harold Gillies, as well as the establishment of blood banks because blood transfusions became routine to save the lives of soldiers. One more thing for the end is about Native Americans and African Americans that served during the war. Nearly 13,000 Native Americans and over 200,000 African Americans served during the war, but only 11% of African Americans were in combat. Sadly, they were put in segregated divisions and they were mostly given to the French. Maybe you heard about the Harlem Hellfighters. That was a unit that consisted of only African American soldiers. Even though they were humiliated by their own government, they spent more time in combat than any other American unit, and when they came home, they were the most decorated unit in the US Army. So this is pretty much everything I have for today. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button and comment down below. This is LastKnownMeal signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.